Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. I am the Goat Quilter. I've been posting a few shorts on a work in progress that I'm making. That is the pickle dish. These pieces were cut using the AccuQuilt die for this. I would never try to cut those by hand. So today I'm going to show you how to put together a block, because if you saw the picture on my community page, I need several more blocks to be able to make it the length for a day bed. So how I organize my pieces is I put them in these bags with the extra fabric I have in here as well, and I just put them in envelopes. So I have my blue end squares that we're going to need, and then inside each bag I've got a little zipper bag, which are the white pieces, the ends and the in-between as well. So we'll pull out a few of those so we can lay those out. Those over here, and then in here I just have random blue triangles as well. So what I need to do is, let me get my wool mat and we'll just lay it out here. I'll scoot back a little bit so you can kind of see. We have to have 2 of the blue squares, and then 7 blue triangles on each one, and then 4, 5, 6 whole diamonds and 2 half diamonds on each one. So let's go ahead and I'll just do them 2 by 2. So there's 2, 2, and 3, and 4. Sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 4, 5, and 6. It's been a while since I've made any of the blocks themselves. I had a lot already sewed together and then realized I'm going to need more. So okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then I need 2 on this end, and these are just reversible because I've made them white. If you use printed fabric, you have to really watch on your dies, because these pieces, you know, to make sure you rotate back and forth so you don't have them all go in the same direction on your fabrics. Alright, so those are my white pieces. Where did I put my colored? Oh, there they are. Alright, so like I said, in here I have different stacks of different ones. So we'll just randomly pick them, and usually when I'm putting these out, I try not to get the same ones across from each other or up against each other, and that way, so whatever I use on the top, I'll make sure that there's something different for the bottom one. So as I'm just going through these, I am just picking, and also making sure I don't have like 2 lights and all darks together. Just laying them out kind of randomly. As you can see, as I'm putting it out, I have a dark here and a dark. So I definitely want to put like a light one in between. I don't want all of the strip dark, but I do want random fabrics in there. And I have a lot of different ones in here that I could choose from. So that's the good thing. And all of these are just from my scraps. I tell people I'm not a fabric snob. I use a lot of fabrics that I can pick up at estate sales. Some of these fabrics are from the early 80s, 70s even. I use a little bit of everything. Like even this one is more of a woven type, very thick type fabric. It's probably a good 70s fabric. But it's pretty, it's blue. And I'm just trying to use whatever scraps I had in blue, and I just cut them up. And then when I feel like I like it, and like this one's definitely early 80s, late 70s, it's that sheen of a fabric. It even has that waxy feel to it. So, but all in all, it'll work for what I'm using it for. It's a small piece. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 8, 7. Let's see. That one probably needs to be kind of it's kind of too light. Too many lights in there. Let's see what we think here in a minute. I think I'll do a solid. There's another one of those that has that really shiny sheen to it. So we'll put that one there. Need one more here. I'm not making that so much. It's gonna go up against the dark. Let's get some color in here. Yeah, that'll work. It's got more of like a yellows and blues. I think that'll work. I think I'm gonna switch these two up. And I think I'm gonna take that one out and put a lighter one in its place as well. Okay, so that's gonna be one block. And I usually try to just sew one at a time because it can get pretty busy with all the blocks laid out. Those back in there. All right, so what I have here is I've just taken them and remember I laid 2 whites here. So all I'm really doing is taking them apart and putting them together here and making sure that I can get these all together. And basically all you're really doing is alternating the direction that you're going in and making sure that one will grab them at the bottom, at the top, somehow I have moved 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That is 7. And I'm trying to figure out what have I done here. Somebody got moved around. Alright. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Too many lights down here. I need a dark one. Way too many lights. Oh, that one will be nice. Well, let's do this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. That's good. All right. Okay. So I have them all laid out, and we're just going to go to the sewing machine and place them together and sew them. Here. And I will need 2 of these blue squares for one of the blocks. Okay. And I just like to clip one up here so I have it for an example. Just keeps my brain straight on how they go. And the nice thing with AccuQuilt, they have them notched just perfectly. They match up perfectly when you're going to sew them. Here we go. Stitch these. I turned my iron on. Stop for me to turn my iron on. Definitely need that when it comes to it. Okay. So just to tell you a little bit about myself, I have been quilting since 1997. I like the old-fashioned patterns more than the more modern. I'm not someone that buys a lot of the designer fabrics. I have a lot of kits. I love certain designers. I love Lori Holt and her patterns because I live on a farm and she has a lot of farm themes. I actually have a WIP over here for her Prairie Home quilt that I'm working on. But again, I'm not using her fabrics. I'm using scraps that are in my stash. My stash is built on just fabrics I see at either quilt shops or at estate sales, yard sales, just wherever I find fabric. I've used, just basic jelly rolls off of Amazon. If it appeals to me, then I pick it up and that's what I use. And I haven't had any bad luck or bad experiences with any fabric. I do have a long arm, so I long arm my quilts. I do free motion, ruler work, and I have a computerized on my long arm. I have a Qnique 19X Elite, a Grace machine, love it. Company was really good to deal with when I was looking at all the different machines and then basing it on my budget. So that's the reason I went with that machine. for the price, I was able to get computerized for what some of the more familiar brands cost just for a machine and the setup. And I already had my brace frame from when I had a Tin Lizzie before. So it is being repurposed for this machine as well. So that was a good thing and a savings. Okay. Now, when we go to iron these, we do want to iron these small pieces open seam. And I say that because it does decrease the bulk, and it is recommended on the AccuQuilt die to do it in that fashion. 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. That's one of them. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Alright, so hopefully I kept these in order. So when I sew them together, they're going to be right. Okay. And now what I'm doing is I kept them apart and I just put them in the sack in the order that they were. So now I can decide, go ahead and sew them back together on the other side. And I'll just finger press for the start, and then I'll actually press here in just a bit. But like I said, I do like to long arm my quilts. I also hand quilt. I do hand quilting on commission quilts. I've done several for several customers. I love to hand quilt as well. And I've recently uploaded a photo of one of my customers' quilts that I am working on right now. I'm actually going to be doing a presentation on hand quilting at our local homemakers for their 250-year anniversary presentation that they're doing in town. Looking forward to doing that at the end of the month. And then now you have to be really careful and watch what you're doing so that you're sewing down the right side and sewing these together correctly. Otherwise you won't get the correct art. It is definitely not a fast process. Like I said, I do love the more traditional quilt patterns. I used to love to go to the quilt shows and look at all the quilts. But since the pandemic, I have not been to a quilt show in a while. And I kind of told my husband that, it just didn't... I just wasn't enthusiastic about it anymore because the quilts have become more art than the old time, what I consider a quilt. I don't think anything's wrong with that. It's just not my personal preference. I just am, I guess you could say, old-fashioned, and I like to see the old patterns and the hand quilting. And yes, I do long arm quilting and all. But I still like, there's some quilts that I just do hand quilting because I just feel it's more representative of the quilt pattern. That one kind of got off there. I'm not liking the way that one went on. For some reason, it did not line up. So we are going to take it out. I'm really not talking when I'm doing this. So definitely, have you seen Ripper close by? Our friend Jack. He shows up a lot around here. I have made several quilts. I make graduation quilts for our youth at church as well. And hopefully I can go through. I'm getting ready to redo. My son was so gracious a couple of years ago and made shelves in my closets here to help me reorganize my stash. So I have everything in there stacked by colors. Is how I kind of keep everything. And it's hard to find things. So I've been watching a lot of YouTube channels and I see how a lot put them on those comic book boards. So I ordered me a box of 250 comic book boards. And I'm going to see if that will help me be able to see my fabric. And organize myself for upcoming projects. I have a lot of works in progress. My design board over here, I'll show you here in just a minute, a couple that I'm working on. I love to do different types of quilting. I have a project at every station of my house. There is my hand quilting in the living room of the customer's quilt. There's my sewing room, of course, where I'm piecing and working on projects. Near my bed, I have another hand quilting that I'm doing. It's a cross stitch and embroidery quilt that I'm doing for the bicentennial. And I also love to do wool applique and hand applique. So I have one that I'm working on. I've just got my next 2 blocks together the other day on the one I'll show you on my design board here in just a minute. And I have 4 blocks all fused down, ready just to do the embroidery stitching on it for my wool applique blocks that I'm doing. It's a Christmas quilt. One of my favorite designers for that is local here in my state, and she did a lot of block of the month. And when I go through my kits, you'll see several of her block of the months that I have. One of the works in progress I have that's an applique quilt that's hers is hanging up here is the Barnes. I don't know if you can see that hanging. I pinned them up here so that I can get them done. But it's pieced and it's raw edge applique. There is one of the blocks. There is another one of the blocks that I've done. I have to still stitch around the applique. But it's Calico Patch. This is one of her wool kits that I wanted to do for Easter. I didn't get it done. Here it is still. So, Vicki, I'm sorry, I haven't got it done. But she is a wonderful designer, and I love her, the way she kits things, the way she puts things together for us. It's beautiful. So that's one that's on my table to still do, and it's not done. The applique, let me show you, take you over here, that I'm working on, that's needle turned, and okay, is my purple one here that I have done. That's 2 of the blocks. Here are 2 more of the blocks. That is another one of the blocks here that goes with Vicky's barn quilt that I'm working on. This is 2 more of the blocks. Another pattern that's the Christmas, sorry, I got you caught in a cord here, that's wool applique. These are the finished blocks that I have done, and this is the gingerbread bake shop applique that I've been wool, and my little candy train that I have done. I have my candy canes done, my gingerbread man done, but I have so many more upstairs that I have to do before I can put those together. As you can see, I love my Aki quilt, and I would like to do a quilt using one of my cubes. So as you can see, I'm a collector of rulers, if we aren't all. Not using many of them, but that is some of the things in my sewing room. And so those are just some of the projects in progress. I do have also, like I said, I've been working on the Prairie Home by Lori Holt. I have all of my log cabins done and the log cabins that go around. So all I lack is the log cabin home and the trees to finish for that quilt. And again, that's all scrappy as well. I can show you those. I had made a quilt using these stars, and it was by Jody, and with square in the square technique. And I love her technique for making stars and doing flying geese. They always come out perfect. So I've made all of these with the stars that go in the center of those, that they go in the center of the long cabin. And like I said, these are just scraps that I have. So there's a lot of purples and golds and browns and greens in there that I used. Here's another one. But I'm very scrappy. Decided to use it up or do without. So I do have all these little scrap blocks. These are all just strips, and I just cut them down to fit in here. Just a little bit of everything. But that is my plan for hers. I'm getting ready to work on the trees and get ready to pull out all my scraps of green in there. And those are some others that I need to get done on there as well. So a lot of, this is how I store my scraps. These are just my blue strips that are in here. I pulled them out because I had 2 new thread holders and I wanted to hang them up on the wall, so I needed a strip to use to be able to hang them up on the wall. They're supposed to sit on a shelf, but I don't have any shelf space. So I got those to hang up on the wall on that. Okay, let's get back to sewing our block here. And in my area, I only have one local quilt shop still that is near me, and I love her. It's the Jewel Box And I don't believe she's online or anything. She's just was a mom and pop. Her mom passed away a few years ago, but I still love going. It's just a good country friendly quilt shop. And she usually has fabric like that I like. I love Civil War reproductions. I like novelty prints that deal with chickens. Anything farm-wise. I have a kit actually that I got on through what's it called? Addicted to Quilts. That's a cow that I want to make for my husband. We have goats, of course, is my first love. I have goats. I have mini zebus, cows. We have ducks, turkeys, chickens. So farming is a big part of my day as well. And gardening, I love to garden. So you'll see. And then I homeschool my grandson, who this week is home with mom and dad, and I sewed that on wrong. Yikes, I sure did. That is... Doesn't that look right? It might be right. No, it's not. Let me see something here. Maybe it is. Yeah, it is. I'm right. I forgot these go the other way. Okay. The nice thing with this is, like I said, all of the corners are trimmed perfectly, so you don't have any dog ears. Everything matches up beautifully. It is one of the things that I love the most about my AccuQuilt. And these little, like the little tabs when you're sewing, they have the little, see them, the little tabs on here, right here, the little point. So that's nice to see. You can see the little points on them. When you go to sew, you match and you pin there, and I've shown that in another video that I made. So, and I know I've heard people say, oh, I don't like curves. That scares me. And with AccuQuilt, and when you're doing curved piecing, when you're pinning, and you're pinning on those little notches, and if you go slow, the curve just melts together. I have done several with the curved pieces, and I have not had any issue when I'm using my AccuQuilt dies. And I know people say, oh, you waste so much fabric with that. I think in every quilt, you waste fabric one way or another. People will say, no, you don't. In every quilt, there's waste if you don't reuse all your scraps. And I do keep all of my scraps, and I make crumb cakes with them. And so I'll make a video of what I do with my crumb cakes, which I'm getting ready to do a quilt with them that I saw in a Missouri Star Block book, that magazine that I got at a sale. And they put a 9 patch in there. And I thought, oh, that would be even better to use my crumb cakes in. And like I said, I'm very frugal. Some people make strip quilts. I make strip quilts. but I don't use paper or any type of, I don't buy stabilizer. I reuse my fabric sheets as stabilizer to make my strips and my crumb blocks as my foundation. And it turns out really nice. And at the end, they smell good. So it's a 2 for 2 on that. And I'll, in the future, be showing that as well. I watch a lot of YouTube quilting videos, and there's several that I just love and adore. Their work, it just amazes me. But most are using layer cakes and certain lines of fabric. And I always wonder what that would look like scrappy. What would that look like? And just, for people that, are on a set budget. Quilting can get expensive. I've spent a lot of money on quilting supplies. And I showed you my ruler wall. And out of those rulers, there's probably 50% of them that I have never used. Never. They're hanging up there. I bought them thinking, oh, that's the newest and latest technique when I was first quilting, and got that ruler. Some are still in the same packaging. I mean, I never opened the package. And I thought, oh, I'll do that. Yeah, that's a great ruler. And I never used them. And I'm sure there's quilters out there that are in the same boat. They've got rulers, saw them demonstrated at a quilt show or in a video, and went and thought, oh, that looks so easy. Bought it and then did nothing with it. I'm guilty. So I've decided that maybe if I started my own YouTube channel, I could start diving into making myself use some of these videos and get somebody that has that video, that ruler. I'm saying not use those videos, but use those rulers, and maybe encourage somebody else to do the same thing of actually using a ruler that's been hanging on their wall or sitting in a rack for years, that they bought and thought, oh, I need to do something with that. I was going to use that, and never use it. So I'm all for the newest gadget. I will say that one of my favorite online places is the Fat Quarter Shop. If I do have to get something, I find that their pricing is pretty reasonable too. And I do their subscription box, the monthly subscription box. I saw that on several of the channels that I've watched. Alright, here we go. We've got 2 of these done. And I do like the subscription box. I think it's the most bang for your buck. And it makes me kind of look at some of these new fabrics that are out there, even though a lot are too bright for me. But I thought, they're nice. But the cost of fabric has gone up so much. This girl's not paying $14 a yard for fabric. I'm sorry. Just can't afford that. Not when I have 1, 2 closets full and bins of fabric everywhere in my sewing room. Alright, so we have 2 rings done. So, now, everyone's saying how hard it is, that they can't believe that you can sew these on a curve. Alright, but before I do these, I am going to press them. And this is my newest gadget that I did get, because I am getting burnt fingers from trying to hold seams when I want to press open. And I watched a demonstration of this being used, and I thought, all right, I'm going to get it. I told my husband, I said, I think I can make it. I just need a dowel. I tried to get him to cut me a dowel in half, and we'd put it on the board and cover it with wool. He looked at me and said, just buy it. It's $14. Just buy it. So I was like, okay. So I bought it. Happy birthday to me this month for that. All right, so let me iron right quick. And while we're ironing, I guess you can hear my music in the background. I play piano for our church, and I just love listening to hymns. I am married to a pastor of our church, and the pastor's wife. So I just feel like hymns are very soothing. Especially when I'm sewing and relaxing. It's my stress-free moment. Okay, so on one of these we will sew the blue squares to. It doesn't matter which one you sew it to. You just pick one, sew your blue squares down to that, because you definitely have to have those on first before we go putting it together. I don't know if y'all buy sheets and the little bags that they come in. I use these. I put a piece of Velcro underneath my sewing table, and then most of these things, they have a Velcro closure on it. So I just take them and I stick them on the bottom of my table, and they make great little garbage can catchers for your threads and your scraps. I don't call them really garbage cans because I go through them after I'm done when they get full, and I pick out my scraps that are big enough to reuse. I think our landfills are full enough, so I try to use as much as I can. All right. I don't iron that one open. I just press it to the dark on the squares. You press it towards your square. And then, okay, so we have 2 rings made here, the blades for our things. And then there is a process on the order that they go into, because that way your seams will match up nicely. So the first thing is, and like I had said, I have made this quilt. The background fabric is from hospital gowns. I have a daughter with disabilities. She was born with scoliosis. So from the time she was 18 months old, she had spinal surgeries every 6 months because they put rods in her back. And, oh, I don't want that yet. I want the outside part. And so we had surgery. So usually when she came home in a hospital gown. Now, mind you, that was back in the late 80s and 90s. And the hospital gowns back then were 100% cotton, and they were really, really nice and soft. They're not like the scratchy, hard hospital gowns you get now. So, just to let you know on that one. Okay, I don't want this one, I want this one. Okay. So, I am making this quilt using all of the hospital gowns I had saved over the years. And she will be 39 in July. She's total care, so she'll always live with me. So it's a blessing just to see what she's been through and what a joy she brings to so many with her laugh and her smile. She's nonverbal, so we get some good chuckles sometimes out of what she does and what she mumbles. She can say mom and dad and bubby for her brother. Those are about the only words that we hear. Every now and then she'll say come on. She has severe apraxia of speech, so it's very hard for motor planning for her to get her muscles to move in the way that they need to speak. I know that was real technical. I'm a speech language pathologist by trade, retired from the school system, and doing rehab with the elderly. My two loves, children and the elderly. I think it's the two groups of people that are often put aside in society anymore. Okay, a lot of pinning. Okay, you can see I have a pin at every notch. I have a pin holding the little tab down. A lot of pinning. Now, that's a curve, but you're going to see how neatly it comes out when we sew it. All right, let's get her started. And like I said, just start slow. Needle down first. Just trust the process. Definitely need to make sure you're doing an accurate 1/4 inch when you're doing this. And that's why I say go slow. If you rush it, you're going to lose your 1/4 inch. On my featherweight here, I do have from the featherweight shop. It is a little block that holds my fabric in place for an accurate 1/4 inch. I absolutely love my featherweight. I didn't think I'd like one, and when I finally got one, and I wanted mine with the very decorative scrolled facing. So Her name is Sapphire. You know how people name their sewing machines. Well, this is Sapphire because I got her for my anniversary one year. And sapphires are my favorite stone. It's for the month of September that I was married in. Okay, here you go. Doesn't get any better than that. See how nice and neat? Alright, and now we're going to put on our center. And I should still have some lighter ones in here. Yes. Okay. Alright. As you can see, some of my gowns are darker and some are lighter because they have been put through that washer, I guess, a few too many times. But they still are special. Alright, and again, I am just pinning like crazy this center portion here. And we'll put that down. All right. So in the comments, I'd love to hear what you think. I am new to this, so please excuse any bumps and jumps in the video. I'm semi-tech knowledge. I know how to use a computer. I know how to use an iPhone. All the fancy stuff like editing and all that, that's going to be a learning curve for me. And adding anything to a video will be a big learning curve. So please be patient and like and subscribe. Stick around, come back, watch for the finished project. I have summers off right now, so I'm trying to do a little sewing, a little gardening. This morning, spent most of the morning out in my garden. Had to go feed all my chicks, my baby ducks, get them all set up and watered. I try to do that in the morning when it's cool. And pin that a little too soon, I think. There we go. There we go. Alright. So, now, there we go. There we go. On there nice and neat. Goes on. Very, very easy. Don't be scared of curves. I was for the longest time. And then the more that I have done them, the easier they seem to get. So don't be afraid of them. Dive in there. Try one. Just take it slow. If I can tell you anything at all, it's take it slow. Don't rush the process. If you rush it, then yeah, it's going to get bumpy and pull and you'll get that, and you know, just keep it slow. Pins are your friend, believe it or not. And I have different types of pins. I wouldn't say one's better than the other. I have these little ball head pins. I do have the flat little birdies and flower pins and hearts that was gifted to me over the years. So, I mean, either one, whatever works for you. I have seamstress pins, the little bitty pins, the little metal ones. A bundle of those. My son goes to these estate sales and brings me these boxes of sewing gadgets. And the last one he brought me was an absolute thriller. I gotta show you what was in it. And some of you might know what it is. I'm not going to say what it is. I'm going to see if y'all know. Leave it in the comments if you know. Oops, sorry about that. My grandson calls it my maraca, but it's not. But I was thrilled when I saw this in my box that my son brought me from the estate sale. So if you know what it is, put it in the comments. Some will know. I'll tell you in my next video what it was, for sure. But that was the thrill. And that's little things like that I get thrilled over. I'm so into the old ways of sewing. I have a treadle, and I am working on a quilt on the treadle. I actually have 3 treadles. I have an 1898 treadle. She's my favorite. And I want to make a video of sewing on her. So that will be coming soon also. I have a treadle that was made here in the state of Kentucky to get people to buy newspaper subscriptions. You will get, if you bought a subscription to the newspaper, I have the whole article for it. I'll have to read some history for you for that one during my treadle video. But I have that one. And then I also have a red eye singer treadle. My other one is a singer as well. But a red eye. I wanted one so bad. And I wanted a 6 drawer. And it's beautiful. I'll show that one in my treadle video. So that's what I sew on. I sew on this featherweight, or you'll see me on my treadle, or you will see me on my brother Dream Weaver here behind me, because I do like to do embroidery as well. So I dabble in anything thread pretty much. Okay. Oh yes, that came out really nice. Okay. Let me press these because they have some seams that match. So I need to make sure they're down. Okay, we're almost done for today. Let's get this block together, and then I will let you go for today. And again, we're going to pin all of these together. You know, there's no ugly fabric. You cut it small enough and it can be pretty in a quilt. It's what I have learned with scraps. If you don't like a fabric that's in your stash, cut it up. Make it into smaller pieces. Put it in a little 4-patch. Put it somewhere, you know, in a scrappy. Use it in applique where it's not going to be as noticed and out there, you know. But all fabric can be used. I mean, I have fabric in here with little clouds on it, and I know I've used that, but use your scraps up. Enjoy your fabric. Yeah, that's right. I want to make sure that's started out okay. And okay. Alrighty. And this one you have to watch because you've got this matching up to the square, so you do have to kind of turn it a little bit so that everything is matching right. Don't be scared to maneuver and, you know, manipulate your fabric a little bit so that you're getting everything in the right place. It's very important. Oh, I didn't hold my thread. One thing you will learn about the use of featherweight is you've got to hold that thread, because when it gets started, it will go like no other. And there's no automatic threader on these babies either. So if you can't thread a needle, whew, this may not be the machine for you. What are you doing? Why are you acting goofy? Oh, I know why. Because you're not threaded right. Hold on. Now we're in all our loops. Yes? Try that again. Alright, I gotta do that again. Sorry, everybody. That was not threaded right, so I had to make sure I got that right. Alright, let's try that again. Yes. And there we go. Now we're happy. She will tell me if she's not happy, that's for sure. Our machines do not lie to us. They definitely let us know if they're not happy with something. And the reason also I say go slow, because you got your pins coming up and you definitely don't want to hit a pin midway as you're sewing with your needle. And I need to pull my under fabric there a little bit. There we go. Okay, coming around to the last stitches. So do this okay? Yes. Alright, let me iron it and I will show you the finished product. All right, all done. There's our block today. Making curves, a pickle dish. Thank you so much for joining me today in my sewing room. And I hope to see you back, and I will be uploading some more fun stitching in the sewing room. Thanks and God bless.